Hi, I'm KS Garner, and you're listening to the Solo Nerdbird podcast. Today, I'll be speaking with the creator and animator of LilBruh, the animated series, Saheed Fawehinmi, currently on Kickstarter. Welcome, Saheed.
Bless. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. But outside my introduction, who is Saheed Fawehinmi, and what are you about?
Oh man, Saheed Fawehinmi is a basketball junkie, music junkie, art junkie, people junkie, positive vibe promoting, and just trying to carve my name in this world.
Okay, well, what is LilBruh, the animated series, about?
So LilBruh, the animated series, man, it's I think it'll be relatable to most people, if not a lot of people, because we all have like the inner child in us where you ever had a moment where um in whatever you're doing, there's this energy, you feel this ball of energy to just be happy, be free, do what makes you happy and free, right? I always feel like that's our inner child speaking to us like, yo, I want to be happy. And by happy is I want to skateboard all day. I want to write music all day. I want to go to the zoo all day, things of that nature. And I noticed like we kind of in our society, we kind of like put a damp on that. You know what I mean? Like you're forced to like, hey, grow up and you should be an adult now. Like, stop playing these games. Stop, like art is not a real job or dance is not a real job, but that's one's passion and it shouldn't be like watered down for anybody's understanding for that matter. So LilBruh really is about my inner child where anything he imagines or feels he can do, I'm responsible for carrying it out. And we only have a limited amount of time to carry out. And when I say limited amount of time, meaning as this suit we call body gets older, but so much you can do after that. So I'm kind of listening to him and just trying to carry out whatever it is he's trying to experiment or experience. And that kind of triggered it for me. And I was like, wow, I think I could create something that resonates with people, even the little people, adults, somebody who is 60 years old, they could tune in and say, yo, I can relate to that character. And that was the birth of LilBruh.
Okay, so what should viewers expect from LilBruh? So say like, I don't want to spoil anything like that, but like, is it gonna be like a slice of life type of thing, or maybe like maybe lessons that LilBruh learns along the way, or what should viewers expect from the show?
It's a little bit of comedy mixed with reality, of course. But even with that reality, it's not a harsh reality, if that makes any sense. It's not a negative trauma content driven or anything like. It's more so positive, and it's a beautiful mashup of I guess I'm about to tell my age now of like Fat Albert and and In Living Color and Rap City and what else was I thinking? Man, it's a combination of those three essentially, and the expectation, of course, is there's always a lesson to be learned. If we take Fat Albert for instance, in each episode, there's a message in everything, whether that's Bill Cosby narrating it or Fat Albert himself narrating. So there's always a message, and there are a lot of hidden gems in the show. So I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it's one of those shows where you kind of, when you see it, you'll see yourself, or at least it'll speak to you in any way you can imagine. It'll speak to you. So it's that type of show. It's cool. It's age friendly, or age appropriate rather, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're a basketball fan or a hip hop fan or a dance fan or movie fan, Black cinema, or what have you, like this is the show for you.
Yeah, you mentioned how like Fat Albert and Rap City and Living Color would tell your age. Of like, if it's telling your age, it's telling my age. I think those shows are available now. I think on like Netflix or Hulu or something like that. So not Rap City, but yeah, I think it's more available. I guess if you go looking for it, or if you have people in the household that used to watch it, you'll see it as well. But could you elaborate on your creative process on LilBruh? So just from a thought in your head, it was like, man, I would really like to draw these characters out. Okay, how am I going to develop these characters, and maybe storyboarding to now promoting it on Kickstarter. So how did it go from a thought in your head to the paper, and now you want to put it up on the screen?
Certainly. So the crazy thing about it, right? Like even as we all handle our social media, right? Like if you notice, we give as creators, we give the people bits and pieces of something that's not even concluded, right? It's not even finished in its bigger picture, right? So I started off doing like a basketball sports commentary, right? And with one of the characters, and you know, I was editing every day. Every day I was putting out new content every day. I'm talking about if a game ended today where, I don't know, Chris Paul dunked on somebody, I'll talk about it tomorrow. So then it became, you know, people got used to it. Like, yo, man, how's he doing it? I'm like, yeah, I'm using Adobe animation. Like, it's no secret. There's no super software app that allows that. I had to create it from scratch. So then my mind started like, it just started a snowball effect. So I started thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I need to create something different, right? Where, because people ask me a lot. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So let me backtrack for a second. I MC, so I spit as well. I'm a spoken word artist. I rap, I dance, and I play basketball. So I wanted to present all that under one umbrella. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, you know, I think if I did like an animated series, that'd be cool. That kind of explains to people what it is, what inspires me every day. Because that's the question I get, like, how are you trying to perfect tap dancing or rapping or whatever basketball? And it's like, man, there's this thing inside of me that wants to carry out everything. But then we bump heads, me and my inner child, like, yo, I can't do this right now because I have responsibility. And like, nah, I want to play ball right now. Well, we can't. Nah, I want to write right now. No, we can't. You know what I mean? So it started out with something as minute as that, right? Then I started sketching it out, like, okay, what does he look like? What does the other characters, who do they look like? And you know, does it reflect who I am, or is it a part of me, or is it a part of my environment, my community? And 2.5 years later, I'm on Kickstarter now, trying to promote it to get it past post-production. That's literally essentially how it came about.
So everything you're telling me that you do, being MC, dancer, animator, like, and then like that's just the stuff that you're passionate about, and then you got your adult responsibilities.
Yeah.
How do you, I guess the right word or the wrong word, how do you cope with I guess struggling with juggling everything? And then because for me right now, I'm in the space of I feel like I'm running out of time. Like I'm an author, I do the podcast stuff, I do graphic design stuff, I'm a streamer, and then like I got this new idea of like running my own D&D game, Dungeons and Dragons, and then I want to get into voice acting, so I'm trying to do that. And then I have my adult responsibilities, stuff around the house, going to work, trying to maintain my relationships with other people, like my friends and whatnot. So it's like I feel like I'm running out of time. You know, it's not enough time in a day. So how do you cope with, you know, it's only 24 hours in a day. You have to get at least 6 hours of sleep, hopefully more than that. So like, how do you cope with wanting it, just the juggling, basically? Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, and that's a good question, honestly. So I think a part of that too is and you know, I hope this is something you'll be able to relate to, even as I said. But I think we all need to do better with respecting our time. And when I say respect our time, just as you mentioned, okay, I need 6 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep or whatever the case may be, right? For me, I start my day at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 a.m. So with 4 a.m., yeah. Yeah. So I started early. I started at 4 a.m. where I catered to the basketball needs, the health needs, the exercise needs. I mean, I cater to that. I come home. The next hour or so, hour and a half, you said you're a graphic designer. I'm sorry, I didn't even mention that. I'm a graphic and web designer. I cater to whatever project that needs to be created or that I have on my plate, an hour and a half. Throughout the rest of the day, I might I might skip out on one thing. Maybe, okay, today I'm not going to dance because I'm not going to have time to dance. Just like you said, we have other responsibilities. But what I make sure I do is I cater to what keeps me alive every day without like, it's like the air we breathe, man. Like I can't skip what keeps me alive because then I'll start stressing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? About whatever bills, relationships, or what have you, right? Like it can easily uh, uh, become like a heavy, a big weight on your shoulder, right? Because you're not catering to the part that makes you happy. Even if you spend 5 minutes, it's a big deal, right? And I've just learned over the years, like, okay, I know I have to do this animation. I got to raise my boys, little babies at that. I have to cook in the house. So I have to run to the store to provide. And, I handle that part of my life, but I also handle what makes me me because the minute I stop doing those things, I turn into somebody else. So I think the main thing is just how we handle, yeah, it's 24 hours, but it's a lot of time. It really, really is a lot of time. If we sit down and map out, okay, how am I spending it from when I wake up to when I go to sleep? What does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Like what's mandatory? What's mandatory and what are the things that I could just do without today, tomorrow, the next day? Because when you find out the things that's mandatory every day, it's easier that way. So, okay, you're a graphic designer. If you spend an hour today, you're good. If you spend 2 hours tomorrow, you're good. If you spend 4 the next day, you're good. If you spend 0 hours, but it's in your thought on the 4th day, you're good because you've put in 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like throughout the week already. So it's about just compartmentalizing like all that we value that our time would allow us to do. You know what I mean? So I guess to answer your question in a nutshell, like I have things like in order, and it's not always in order because as much as I do as artists, like it changes.
Yeah.
I might say I want to dance and tap dance today, but if I'm not in that mood, if I want to create an artwork and paint, that's what I'm gonna do. Then I have to tap dance 2 days after or the next day. You know what I mean? So I think it's just about juggling our own time because you own your time, I own my time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we're just in a space where people want to tell you, yo, I own your time. This is what you're allowed to do. Come give me all your energy and whatever there's left, you use that. Like that's your business. I don't care how you do it, but I'm gonna suck out all the energy out of you. You know what I mean? That type of situation. So that's truthfully how I juggle it for real. Because there are days where I don't cater to dance, or there are days I don't cater to art. Even there are days I don't even sketch or do anything in animation. I just skip a whole day. And then when I come back, I'm eager. I'm more excited like a little kid again. And I want to draw and I want to paint. Oh my God. And I'm everywhere with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's really, really that's the truth behind it all for us. Your time, it's time management. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, but if you get up enough time to okay, look, I'm starting my day at 5. Before I even jump in the shower to head to work, I'm going to use 5 to 5:45 to meditate. I'm going to use 5 to 5:45 to sketch something. I'm going to use 5 to 5:45 to talk about what I want to do on my podcast. Like if you try that, right? If you start that with your morning, whatever it is that makes you, everything else throughout the rest of the day will follow suit. Everything, I promise.
Yeah. I definitely do that, and I do the things that are mandatory, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And my life, it is different from week to week.
Yeah.
Based off of who I'm interviewing that week,
Yeah.
the hours that I'm working that week,
Yeah.
the people that I have to meet up with at some point during the week, or events that are going on that week. That's just, it changes from week to week, and I like it. Keeping a
Yeah.
schedule, keeping a calendar on hand at all times, writing things down. I have a calendar also downstairs in my kitchen because
Yeah.
everybody's in and out of the kitchen, so you'll always see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just doing the things that I have to do, and then the things that are optional.
Yeah.
I may or may not do it, but yeah, that's just how I cope with it, with mine as well. I just wanted your thoughts as well, because it seems like you pretty much do everything from what I read on your Kickstarter and then what you're telling me now. So are there any collaborators on this project for LilBruh, or is it just
So
you doing pretty much everything?
Well, right now it's pretty much me, and
Uh-huh.
that's something else I've learned too, because I feel like we're gonna touch on what I'm about to talk about is for anybody out there, you know what I mean? Like even you, like if you have an idea as to what you want to create, just go for it, right?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, when you start it off, then by the time you share with a videographer, by the time you share with whoever, like then it's like, oh, I see where they're going, and me get on. Because that's something I learned through experience. Like when I verbalized Little Bro like a year ago or 2 years ago to some people, like, yo, I want to do this animated cartoon. They couldn't see it for anything. And I'm explaining the best way I can. They just couldn't see it. But now that it's rolling and I have some images to back it up, I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
so really it's more so for right now, I'm doing a bulk of it. And I have two guys that we've done a lot of videography stuff from like way back. And as recent as maybe a year ago or whatever. So I know when the ball gets rolling, and hopefully I get successfully funded, then I'm reaching out to them because a part of Lil Bruh is live action as well. I'm gonna have like live action interaction where maybe he's sitting on my shoulder and we're talking and he smacking me in the face or whatever the case may be. So it's a little more interactive than him just being in his own world, right? And for right now, I'm just thugging it out. I'm just doing it all, not because I want to, but because I realized the situation. Even the voiceovers, like I'm thankful that I can mimic voices very well too. So that kind
Uh-huh.
of like, yeah, that kind of like rules out like, oh, let me go out and scout, which I still plan on doing, bringing more people. But I know when I put it out there for what it is, then it's like, oh, I would like to be a part of it. Then it's hands in the cookie jar. Everybody want to put their hand in the cookie jar when the cookie's made. But while I was baking it, you wouldn't even give me butter or sugar. And I asked
Uh,
you, you know what I'm saying? I asked you like, dog, give me some butter, bro. This is gonna be banging. You're like, nah, I don't have it. But all of a sudden, you want to put your hand in my cookie. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta see. Are your hands clean? If it ain't, you can't. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that. Like I'm just doing the best that I can with what I have. And obviously the goal is to hire some voiceover actors as well to
mhm.
play certain roles. And but I know I'm doing the groundwork right now, which is I'm doing it all. I'm
Yeah.
doing it all the best way I can. So
When you said that you're trying to maybe do live action with little brothers on your shoulder, it reminded me of you remember that show Little Skeeter?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
So that I
Yep.
was like that'd be pretty dope if he did like maybe one episode as like a puppet. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Like it's all those things. Like
Mhm.
even do you remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit? You remember that
Yeah,
movie?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there are components of that I have to like borrow from and use. And I say that because I know I'm not immediately gonna get 5 other animators that's gonna jump on what I got going on right now. Maybe I'll get 1 or 2. But in the meantime, I'm thinking, okay, I have to incorporate like live action. Like there's scenes that I have set for all the characters. So they're in their world, that's fine. But to connect with people as far as like your inner child and whatnot, a part of me has to be injected in the animated series. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
To where they understand where I'm coming from. When I'm sitting still and I'm trying to, let me give you a picture for a second, right? I'm sitting still trying to create a logo for a client. I'm not too hyped to do it, but I'm like, whatever. I can pay my phone bill with it. But in my head, it's like, yo, we got to go try this basketball move. And I'm like, not right now. I have to finish this logo. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, yo, all right. And he's just being obnoxious, like whistling and talking loud in my head. I'm like, yo, let me finish this logo. And I can't detach from Lil Bro. He's with me forever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can't detach, you know what I'm saying? So picture something like that. And I'm like, all right, boom, it's done. Let's roll out. Then we go out, then I interact with it. I want people to like get that feeling, that feeling that it's a natural feeling. We all have an inner child in us. Like some ignore it, some have caged it for years, and some are like they rocking with it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Some are rocking with it, and that's that's my whole thing, man. That's where I'm going with this. Like for real, like on some live action Who Framed Roger Rabbit type situation.
Yeah, that'd be really dope. But if you need voice actors, I'm just
Oh
getting started, so I would. if you know anything like practice or anything like that, especially if you're trying to work out and see how it works, I'm definitely available. So let me know.
Oh,
But
listen, we'll talk after this, like for sure. Because you mentioned it too. I'm like, oh, okay, she thinks she about to get away with it. Nah, I'm about to pencil you down.
uh, yeah, I would appreciate it. But what other advice would you offer to other creators you wish someone would have told you when you first started?
Man, to be 100 with you, from the day my mother, God rest her soul, from the day she found out I could draw up until this very day, or up until the 4 years ago before she passed, she never asked about, are you doing this job? Are you going to she? It's everything art. So I had that in my corner from when I was a boy, from age 7 up until now. Like it was always, when are you drawing the next thing? When are you painting the next thing? When are you doing a dance? Are you doing like a video or something? Are you a part of? So for me, I've always had that. Now, for someone who's never had that or who doesn't have that, it's okay to just stay in your space and keep doing what you're doing. Like be your own biggest cheerleader, right? You know what I'm saying? Because when you put it out there, like the world is not trying to rock with, oh, I think I can do it. No, they want to rock with, oh, it's done. It's packaged up, it's ready. But they don't know they don't know how long you've been doing it. So my advice to any creator out there is, if you believe in what you got going on, you just have to keep going. You have to keep doing it. And there are people that'll try to give you advice as to a life that they're not living. You have to use discernment. Like, she ain't even living this shit. He don't know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me something you're not living, though. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks their advice is gold, but it becomes discernment at some point. It was like, I hear you, but it doesn't resonate with me. Oh, I hear what he's saying. I can see what he's talking about. You know what I mean? So my advice is create a way, because if you look around, even you, as you're sitting now, if you look around, everything is art, everything. So there's no way we're starving artists. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So yeah, just two things I want to add on to that. So what you just said about how people will give you advice about your life, about a life that they're not living. And that's why I told you, I was like, I don't take advice from people who not living the type of life that I'm living or that I want to live.
Right.
And that's why I feel like a lot of people come to me about this podcast stuff, about the writing stuff, because they see somebody they actually know, like in real life, pursuing the things that they want to pursue, instead of just somebody on the internet, that has a bunch of followers that they probably bought anyway, that's not living the life that we live in, right? And then I forgot already what you just said. About, you said a lot of stuff. I forgot. I'm drawing a blank. I completely forgot the last other thing I wanted to say.
Oh,
but yeah,
my bad.
No, is everything you just said is just going forward. Oh, and I remember what it was. Putting out finished work. So there's some other stuff that I write in my free time just to put up on the internet, just to get some stuff out of my head that I don't want to publish that to make money off of it. I just want to put it out there because it's an idea that I had. And it's a 2-part series. I finished the first part and people are asking for the second part. And it's been 2 years since I did the first one. And they're like, oh, did you abandon it because the second part isn't out yet? I'm like, well, COVID happened and then a lot of things changed. And then I suffered a personal loss in the beginning of the year. So that kind of put me in a different headspace. But I prefer to put out work that's finished, because a lot of people start stuff and they never finish it. So I'm like, I'm looking for it too. So this is what I prefer to do. It's like, wait till it's finished. Like, you promoting something that you haven't even started yet. One of my biggest pet peeves, and I sorry if I'm taking this away from you, but
no.
One of my biggest pet peeves is people creating new pages and there's nothing on the page. The new business that they're starting, and it's like, okay, you started this like 3 months ago. Where's the rest of it? What happened to it? You started a new business doing this and it didn't go nowhere. Okay, you talking about you want to write this, but there's no cover, there's no nothing. So I only have the 2 pages. I have my personal page and this page. Yeah. And Yeah, I just prefer things to be finished. I always tell people finish it first.
Right.
You need to stop looking at XYZ. You need to start at ABC first. Stop looking at all the way down there and
Yep.
look at ABC first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just something I
You,
always tell people.
and that's very powerful what you're talking about, because there are a lot of people who, you know, they're not connected with who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're just seeing the easy road, what they think. It's all perception. Like, oh man, he or she got on or they got on, so boom, I'm about to go that route. I'm about to just do that. And it's like, but it's not in your DNA. It's not a part of you. That's why you see a lot of people start pages. That's why I see a lot of people at the beginning of the year. I got it all together. I got this. I got that. But come April, you're like, okay, show me what you got. It stops because there's this air, man. Like people take up the air of other people and try to breathe it in. And it's like, dog, it's not yours though. Like be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even for like a lot of creators on Kickstarter, right? Their thing is, which I respect, right? They're putting out pieces to the product, right? Like, look, I got a story that I'm working on. Here's this character, that character, that character. It's set up in DC. This person likes to talk, this blah, blah, blah. Like they have something finished in that regard, right? Now they need push, the financial push to, you know what I mean? To really like, here it is. Here's the first episode, second, third, or whatever, right? There are people who don't even do that. Like the cosmetic stuff, they don't even do that. They don't even prep. They don't get it ready, right? It's on some, well, if this person is doing it and they're successful, I'm just going to do it. Like, no, like you have to be in it. You have to be cool with having 0 followers when you've posted 300 posts. You have to be cool with, yo, I got to get up at 5 and research the person I'm about to interview. You have to be cool with that. You have to be cool with, yo, nobody's even feeling it. Nobody's even paying you any attention. You have to keep moving. That's why you see people when they start a page, one letdown and they're finished.
Mm-hmm.
One letdown, like, yo, your cupcake sucks. And boom, they're done. Because one person who don't know what it takes to make cupcake is telling you your cupcake sucks and they stop. You know what I mean? Versus like you, that's why I said like it could, I don't know, 3 months from now. You could be for real. You got 5 million followers. And I'm like, yo, but I'm not gonna be shocked because here you are interviewing me. You know what I'm saying? Like it starts with this right here. Like you're doing what you got to do for your brand, and you're doing it. Like, yo, when I got the email, I wasn't even sure. I was like, man, is this a robot? Is this a bot texting me about? I wasn't even sure. I was like, let me respond because I'm not the artist to act. Oh my God, no. I'm like, let me respond and see. And then when you respond, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is real. This is a real person. So people don't care to do the work you're doing or the work I'm doing. Mm-hmm. It's the glamour. People love the glitz and the glamour. And then when they find out, like, oh, it's real work being an entrepreneur. It's real work doing ABCD. They don't feel it or know what it's like. It's all just assumption. And well, if he can do it, I can do it. That's a cool mentality to have. But when you find out it's work, are you still willing to do it or what?
Yeah, are you actually only trying to do the work? Like it's this you work more as an entrepreneur than you ever do as working a 9 to 5, because a 9 to 5 is already done for you. You have a role to play in that single role, and that's it. You may have to play someone else's role for a while, but this is your role that you get paid to do, and then you go home. But whereas an entrepreneur is up and down, it, like I said, my thing changes weekly, and you have to be able to, you have to learn how to adapt. You know, whereas like when you start school, when you go to pre-K or when you start school at 5 years old, that's your life all the way until you turn 18 or 21 or 25 when you get out of graduate school or whenever. And life is already set for you in a way. Your day is already set for you. But when you go and pursue your own dreams and passions, you have to make that up for yourself. And it's something that you have to make the adjustment to, like, oh, I have to be the one to send out these emails. I have to be the one to follow up with people. I have to be the one to go out and talk to people, when the whole point of me working for myself was that I didn't have to talk to people. You know, that's a big part of it too. So it's like networking pretty much. So yeah, you do more work now than you probably ever did in your entire life.
Man, and that's the truth of the truth. Like it's so much work. I broke it down to somebody regarding what you mentioned, right? And I'm like, look, I couldn't, and yeah, I've done all odd jobs you could think about, for real. For when I said that on my Kickstarter, I meant that, like from security, retail merchandising, care, kids care, teacher, security guard. I've done all of that, right? The one thing that kept removing me was my passion. And I wasn't like flunking at these jobs. I was doing my very best.
Mhm.
But something inside me was like, dog, this is not what you're supposed to be doing, man. You can keep doing it, but this ain't your race. Whole time I'm like, nah, this is it. Or maybe it's an idea. Nah, like I'm that guy doing the security job and I'm like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom to go dance for 2 seconds. Because in my head, no, for real, in my head, I'm like, ooh, that move is tough. What if I add boom, 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 boom? I go in the bathroom to do that. Or I'm sitting there, a rhyme or a word comes to me, I'm like, ooh, I got to expound on that. I run to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? That type. And people don't see all that, right? Like I broke it down to somebody. I'm like, look, you get up at 6 o'clock to bathe, brush your teeth, blah, blah, blah. And you're on your transport to get to work, assuming you start at 8. That's 2 hours gone. Just for transportation, just to leave your house to get there. 2 hours gone. Then you go 9 o'clock to about 10:30. You're checking your emails, you're checking your Instagram, whatever. The real work at that job starts at like 10. You do that 10 to 12, 1 o'clock, you go on your lunch break, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another from 1 to like 2:30 or 3, you do a little bit of work, you getting ready to leave the job, depending on the type of job you have, right? When you leave that job, it takes you maybe an hour and a half to get home. By the time you get home, your energy is gone, right? So that lifestyle, I choose to do the other way, the other lifestyle where I'm up at 3 a.m. because I'm inspired to be up. You know what I'm saying? My purpose is like, yo, wake up, man, let's go draw, let's go sketch, let's go doodle. And I'll sleep when I sleep. You know what I mean? And that's the life that people don't know about being an entrepreneur. Like you mentioned, I have to go out and say, hey, I got an animated series coming out, LilBruh. I think you can relate to it. Hey, go fly it. Something I don't want to do, but I have to do it. Who else is going to do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that fearlessness being an entrepreneur. Like, yo, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. Like, I'm already on ground level. I can only go up. So I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So it's a mentality that a lot of people don't have. They think they have it until the real work starts, then they back off.
Yeah, exactly. Like my life, that was pretty much my life for like 5 years of, getting up, and it was never enough work to do there, but I had to be there all day, which didn't make sense to me. And not having enough energy at the end of the day, or you only have really one day off, which is Saturday, but you use that day to run errands, because Sunday you have to get ready to go back to work.
You
And
prepare
Friday
for
you only
Monday.
have the last part of the day, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
And I sat down and mapped out everything you're talking about. And that's how I just mapped it. I'm like, man, so I only get Saturday to breathe. And God forbid you have friends who want to hang on Saturday. You still don't get your time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You still don't get your time. So I started thinking about stuff like that. And I'm like, look, I'll just walk by faith and not by sight, man. And that's all I've done the last 5-6 years. Even as a graphic designer, right? They want to house us in buildings. And I'm like, our brains don't work the way y'all think it works. Like, have me there from 8 to 5. I might not get any inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. And then another thing I wanted to put in there before, I keep adding stuff in there, taking the time away from you, and I apologize for that.
You good.
But what was it that I wanted to say? I keep losing my train of thought. I just thought of something, like, I think it was like yesterday, because for a while before I left my full-time job to pursue this full-time and other stuff full-time, I kept trying to put in applications for other jobs and just like getting rejected or not getting anything at all. And then now I'm trying to find like management, like talent management, and maybe get with a PR company or whatever it may be, and even join other not podcasts, but other entertainment companies that are doing, like, they have their own podcast, because everybody's getting into podcasting now. So they may have their own little faction or whatever you want to call it, and not getting anything back from anybody. And I kept thinking, talking to myself like, hey, maybe it's not for you to join anything. It's you supposed to create it yourself. So one of my biggest dreams is to have my own company, production company, and then to have the podcast to, and maybe even publishing, so I can help other authors as well, maybe comics. Yep. Not an animated series, maybe an animated series, but like maybe my own show in a way, like a syndicated type of show. It'd probably be mostly on the internet. But stuff like that, that'd be my biggest thing. So I was just thinking about that the other day. I'm like, why is nobody responding back to me as far as like wanting to take me on? It's because that's not for you. You are supposed to be leading. You're supposed to be doing it yourself and continuing what you're already doing. Stop trying to look for the easy way out. Stop trying to look for somebody else to create your schedule for you, because it's a lot. It's a lot sending out emails to people all day and waiting for them to respond and then getting my schedule together. It takes a lot. Like, a lot of people don't understand that point. And they always like, why your phone? Why you're not answering your phone calls? And why you're always on D&D? Like, I got this stuff this is a lot. This is a lot to do. So yeah, I'm on that. And I just, came to the realization the other day, like literally yesterday. I was like, you're supposed to be leading. You're supposed to be, continuing this and taking this to where you want to be with your dreams. And you're not supposed to be joining in with other people. So that's where I am right now.
Yeah, and what I call that is what I think I spoke it to you a couple of minutes, is running your own race. Like, you can't, you run your own race, you get to your finish line, then you might find all the pieces you need for your brand, for your production. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? The energy you're spending being real crafty and writing these emails to people who might take a headline, a look, and like, oh, okay, I'm not interested, or oh, okay, maybe, or okay, I'll connect with her later. That energy, you can sit down. Just as you just spoke it to me. That same energy, you can sit down. I bet a year and a half from now, I want to be on HBO somewhere. I want to be on Netflix. I want to be on Hulu. Why not? Because creators, we're in that space now where what we have or what we work on, these networks need it. Yeah. Or they're looking for like something fresh. So it's like now you can sit back like, okay, I'm going to create this podcast format, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is you're imagining, right? And just run that race, yo. Keep your bottle of water with you and just run that race, because at the end of the day, people they don't see it until they see it. They just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like the work it takes when you now sitting down and you're giving out gems every day, like, man, I was writing for 4 hours straight, blah, blah, blah. Like, they don't see that. They think it's unrealistic, but that's the only way to get there, right? So for you, even, and for anybody else for that matter, like, whatever, first of all, the dope thing about what you mentioned is that you've identified who you are, what you're trying to do. That's like the first leg right there. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna run my own race. Cool. The obstacles you run into, it's all on you. The successes you find, it's all on you. Whether your success is small, medium, big, super big, it's all on you. The obstacle is all on you. You're gonna run into them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's no, it's better that way, at least. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you've been reaching out and trying to do it. Like, I've done that as well. Like, I've been working on my own for the last, we're in 2022 now, the last 5-6 years strong. But I remember them hungry nights. I remember them ramen noodle nights for real. I'm not even saying it like, I'm not saying like these people say it, or rappers. No, I remember those. I remember the Nutter Butter nights. All I would eat is Nutter Butter cookies. I remember those nights. I remember it, because I'm like, nah, I see myself doing what I'm doing now. I didn't see me doing animation, which is crazy, but I always did comic strips and paint and draw and basketball, blah, blah, blah. But it's because I had an idea already from years back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, I'm going to do what it takes. I could struggle on my rent. I'm not proud to say that, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, but that was my mentality at the time. Like, I could struggle on my rent, my phone, whatever, but this is what I need to be doing. You know what I mean? And you identifying with that already. Yeah, you already just keep that same ratio. Even when you're dog tired, just stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. But my last question for you, Saheed, is which you probably already touched on, but we'll just do it again, is
Cool.
what is your idea of success? So I asked that pretty much to everybody.
Yeah.
Because as creators, if we're not getting regular paychecks or from a full-time job or making consistent revenue from our art, we're considered failures. We may even consider ourselves failures. Many of us will put our dreams and projects on the back burner or give them up altogether because this career can be highly intimidating and competitive. So what is your idea of quote unquote success?
Man, to be 1,000% honest with you, just like you mentioned, all creatives and artists, we all would like to have some type of financial stability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like not too high, not too low, middle, whatever, like just enough to I don't have to worry about certain bills, right? I think any creator can agree with that. Like, I don't want to worry about my bills. If that's handled, everything else is a plus, right? For me, my gauge to success or of success is just being at peace. For real. Like, having peace, man, trumps a lot of everything else that doesn't matter. If you have peace in your heart doing what you're doing, whether you're getting $5 today, $10 tomorrow, like, as long as you're doing what you feel your purpose is, the world, the universe will conspire to make it worth your while. You just have to keep doing what it is you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I really think, society at times, or society for the most part, will try to dictate what success is. Like, if you ain't making 1.2 million, if you ain't 10 million in, then you're failing. But the reality is, if you're happy with your $100,000 or 50, just putting a number on it. If you're happy with your $50,000, 60,000, $100,000, then you're happy with it. You know what I mean? You're not even thinking about that. So, I mean, for an artist, for a creative, such as yourself, myself, I think for me, my gauging success is just, am I at peace with what it is I'm doing? With some financial backing, of course, or stability, rather. I'm sorry, with some financial stability or comfortability, that makes me happy. Then that I can afford the roof over my head, I can eat, I can, do certain things because of my gifts. My talent is I'm being afforded all these beautiful things because of what I know how to do. So that's, that to me is success. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have a number because numbers are endless. So, but I just want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But is there anything else that you wanted to touch on about LilBruh that I may have missed? Maybe rewards for potential backers?
Oh man, yes. So the rewards it starts from anywhere from $1. Just thanking those who donate, those who watching now. Like, I really appreciate it. Whatever reward you're able to contribute to LilBruh. So my reward goes from literally a digital thank you to a high pricey reward of I think 3,000 or 4,000, where we sit down, talk about whatever it is whomever wants to talk about, plus the previous rewards, such as exclusive sneakers that I designed for LilBruh himself, t-shirts, hoodies, keychains, executive producer credits. It's a bunch of rewards that I think, as a token of my appreciation to those who support it. So I have some really, really cool rewards, man, that I hope people take advantage of it. But as far as LilBruh, he can't wait to see y'all in June. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it gets successfully funded. And in the event that, that doesn't happen, I still plan to keep working on it. I'm not going to stop just because of that.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, again, I want to thank the creator and animator of LilBruh, the animated series, Saheed Fawehinmi, currently on Kickstarter. I highly recommend our listeners to give his Kickstarter a look, share, and back if they can. The website and socials for Saheed and LilBruh will be listed in this episode's details alongside the Kickstarter link. Again, I'm KS Garner, and you have been listening to the Solo Nerdbird podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. Peace.